Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Nick and these are my plants. In today's video, I'm going to show you all a bunch of my Anthurium because they're my favorite and that's what I want to talk about. The first plant I'm going to talk about is my Warocqueanum. As you can see, it's flowering and pushing a new leaf right now. This was the first queen I got. I got it from a local seller. The next Anthurium I'm going to talk about is the Rhodolanti. This one's unique because it has the bumpy texture while still being somewhat velvety. Very hardy plant, just kind of a slow grower. The next one is the Quermalence. It's another large leaf Anthurium, velvety. This is kind of a recent one, so it's still bouncing back from being repotted by the first time and transitioned into semi-hydro. The next Anthurium is Anthurium draconicarum. It's got an interesting lobes, and as it matures, these get quite a bit bigger. A more difficult species that I'm just getting used to growing. It tends to prefer a little bit higher humidity than my tent sits at, but so far so good on this new leaf. Okay, the next Anthurium is the Anthurium pallidiflorum. It's a strap leaf species. This is a extra narrow one. I quite like how sort of ridiculous the proportion between the width and the length. Yeah, it's a very neat, nice and velvety species. The next species is Anthurium onelingeri. This is another strap leaf and it has a nice bumpy texture to it. This one is from NSE and I grew it from a small seedling. Very quickly matured once it got established though. That's quite a lovely, long, strappy leaf. I look forward to seeing how much bigger this one gets. The next one is Anthurium bessiaeaf. Got this from a local seller, so I'm not sure which of the varieties of bessiaeaf it is. It's a good flowerer. Making some hybrids with this one. You can see the emergent leaf here. This plant has a really nice blue-black sheen to the leaves. This is Anthurium sp. napo. It's a non-velvet, interesting, long-lobed species. Currently at Cataphil, readily hybridizes with a lot of these velvet-leafed ones, so I look forward to making some extra low-bee hybrids. This is Anthurium dark phoenix. It's an Indonesian hybrid. It's got nice dark foliage, very pap-like, which is why I first got it. It's been a solid plant. Can't really say much one way or another. This is Anthurium king of spades, or HU. It's a hybrid out of Indonesia. It's a very nice species. I love how round and dark the leaves are. It's also got nice veins and blistering, which I quite like. And that's one of the things I sort of noticed about this specific king of spades that not a lot of others seem to show. A bit of a slow grower. You can see it's working on another leaf. Yeah, this is one of the first Anthurium got, one I quite like. Next up is Quechua Queen. It's a hybrid of Marmoratum x Regulosum from J. Vanini. It's doing Regulosum things on this leaf. Also got this nice new leaf on the way. Yeah, quite the stunning plant when it's not crispy. This is Anthurium Wonderboy. I grew this one from a small seedling. I'm growing it for its nice dark foliage with the contrasting veins, and when the leaves are fresh, it has hot pink central lines on the veins, very reminiscent of a red crystal or a dock block. This next species is a little bit of a weirdo. It's a vining Anthurium, Anthurium clademioides. Very interesting, quite challenging to grow outside of a terrarium, I find. Definitely prefers north of like 80–85% humidity, and it likes to be in the dark. Beautiful, beautiful leaves. And I'll insert a picture of when this leaf was fresher so you can get a better idea of how it looks. Anthurium clademioides. Next is Anthurium frigettii x Antilocii. This is a hybrid from Woohoo Tropicals. Beautiful, bumpy, dark foliage, and interestingly, a peltate, which means fused sinus, and it seems to be holding this trait. The last 3 leaves all have it, and it's been gaining it, which is generally what they do if they're going to keep it. So very pretty, kind of just looks like a bebop with a fused sinus, which is kind of the perfect outcome of this plant for me. Next we have another frigettii hybrid from Woohoo. This is crossed with a red crystal. And it kind of looks exactly like a red crystal, which is pretty funny. No fused sinus on this one. Very pretty pink veins on the emergent and quite a nice leaf overall. And again, this is a Woohoo Tropicals hybrid. Here's another frigettii hybrid. This is crossed with a luxurians. It's got beautiful dark purpley black leaves, and again peltate, which is lovely. Quite a nice hybrid. This one is from Somia at the Northern Plant Room. This is Anthurium luxurians. This one has beautiful silver foliage. They tend to lose it as they age, something you can appreciate when they're little. And this one was grown from seedling size. Very interesting backs of the leaves and petiole shape. This is Anthurium luxurians crossed with a hybrid of crystallinum and magnificum. This was made by a local Anthurium collector. Absolutely beautiful how this leaf darkened up. I keep saying it almost looks like a bruise. Beautiful color. Yeah, not much to look at around the other side, but this leaf, very promising. This is Anthurium papillilaminum, Fort Sherman X Self from J. Vanini. This is the papillilaminum that made me fall in love with papillilaminums. You can see the foliage darkens down to this inky black color. I foliar fed it, which is why the leaf looks awful. Absolutely stunning, and it really holds this deep green for quite a while. I absolutely am obsessed with this pappy. It's got 2 inflows right now and actually pollinated both. I don't want to give away what they are, but very shortly in the future I will show you more and talk a bit more about Anthurium flowers and what you can do with them and what to expect. Anthurium papillilaminum Fort Sherman X Self. This is Papillilaminum RA5 X Self. RA is short for Rory Antelope, the person who collected the parent plant for this. It's a bit of a rehab. Happy it has another leaf on the way. I selected this one specifically because it had dark and bumpy foliage. It needs to gain both of those things back now that it's recovered, but it should be very pretty in the future with a little bit of TLC. This is Anthurium papillilaminum regardens. It's got beautiful red backs to it. This leaf is an emergent right now, so it hasn't quite gained its full color. You can see on sort of this leaf and this leaf. It's another one of those papillilaminums that is just absolutely gorgeous. This is Anthurium papillilaminum Voldemort X Self from Woohoo Tropicals. It's exceptionally dark, got lovely lobes, it's an absolute center of a plant, and it's probably my fastest growing plant. This thing does not quit. This leaf isn't quite hard yet, and I'll turn it around and show. You can possibly see potentially an emergent leaf. I'll do my best to zoom in. And like I said, it's still hardening this leaf right here. Absolutely gorgeous blue-black color to the previous leaves. Very excited to keep growing this one out. And again, Papillilaminum Voldemort X Self from Woohoo Tropicals. This is Anthurium papillilaminum crossed with Antilochii. I got this as a cutting from a friend. I'm very happy with how this new leaf came out. Kind of shows why I was excited to get a clone of this plant. It's got beautiful dark foliage. And again, this is a hybrid of papillilaminum and bvep, or Antilochii. This is Anthurium Antilochii, also called Anthurium bvep, or Black Velvet Eastern Panama. This is an unnumbered or pre-numbering RA, or Rory Antelope X Self. Recently pollinated it with the Fort Sherman X Self, this one right here. It's got a new leaf on the way. It's a bit beat up, but very happy with it. This is Anthurium Dressleri from NSE. It's got beautiful dark foliage. It's a bit of a baby still. It started gaining a real nice dark color. Bit challenging to grow, but once it gets to about this size, it takes off. This is Anthurium Hobgoblin. It's a hybrid by J. Vanini of the Black Magic crossed with an RG-F2 Dressleri. The Black Magic is a hybrid of a Luxurians and another one of his RG dress. It's an absolutely beautiful, dark, bumpy plant. This is my personal favorite. I am thoroughly obsessed with this plant. And again, this is an Anthurium Hobgoblin. This is Anthurium Ace of Spades. It's from Tuzula. It's grown for its exceptionally dark foliage. This plant is pretty much pitch black. It's got a beautiful iridescence to it. And here in the center is an emergent. Anthurium Ace of Spades. This is Anthurium Carlablackia. Beautiful dark foliage. This one just hit caterpillar. If you can see, oh, I almost just broke it off. You can see there. I absolutely love this. This is a hybrid of RA5 crossed with RA10, which are 2 specific Carla clones. And absolutely stunning dark foliage. This is Anthurium SP Nov DF, which is short for Anthurium species Nova Dewey Fisk. It's also sometimes called the dark form port. This is an emergent leaf. I'll put up some pictures of what it starts out looking as because it comes out this reddish color. And then with time, it hardens down to this dark purpley black color. It's quite dark in person. Again, an absolutely Beautiful, beautiful species grown for its wide sinus. Very, very interesting. Thank you for watching my video. I look forward to sharing more of my plant journey here on YouTube. In the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram at NXCplants. Have a good one.